Hello, I'm Robert, or Mr. Jester, as it says right there. Today I'm going to teach you how to quickscope. It's once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty simple. So I'm going to put on my pretty easy map. This one here, free for all, and the above. Put that to unlimited and that to unlimited, even though it doesn't really matter. If you're holding a quickscoping lobby, this is usually what you do. Your max health you set to minuscule, therefore you do not have any hit markers when you're trying to shoot, which is really annoying when you're a quickscoper, and health regeneration to 0. You might want to leave your kill cam to enable so they can see if you're quickscoping or not, and then kick out the cheaters. You don't have to have your radar on, even though it does help. Hardcore mode gets rid of your HUD and your crosshairs. You don't need your crosshairs if you don't want to, but I find it's easier with them. Score limit, whatever you want it to be, from 1000 to 7000 or unlimited, and time limit, usually you leave that as unlimited because you don't know how long the game is going to take. Now, for a beginner at quickscoping, I would use Rust, or you could even use High-Rise, but today we're going to use Rust. Alright, and your class, this is what I use. My primary weapon is an intervention. You can use FMJ, it does add a little bit of damage, and you can also go through light walls such as corrugated iron, ply walls, doors, etc. Or you could have any other attachment that you want. Based on the host, they should decide on what attachments you're allowed on your intervention. The ones that aren't usually allowed are heartbeat sensors, not that you would need them anyway, because quickscoping games are very quick and you won't have enough time to see their heartbeat. So I've used intervention for today because the silencer doesn't, on an intervention, although it is minuscule and even a shot on a silencer will kill them, I just don't feel it has the power, and I like the power of the intervention. Secondary, it's the same. The host may have rules. Sometimes you're not even allowed to use your secondary, so it doesn't really matter. But one-hand weapons make you quicker. If you have an RPG on your back, it will slow you down a little bit. So today we're using akimbo. Throwing knives or equipment. Usually they say quickscopes, no scopes, 360s and throwing knives. Throwing knives are quite hard to use unless you're experienced in them. So yeah, you're allowed to use throwing knives occasionally. I'm not sure about frag grenades or semtexes. Maybe they say you're allowed to throw semtexes, although I think it throws the game out a little bit. Tactical insertions, what the hell. Blast shield, you're not going to need that because it doesn't stop bullets. Claymores, noobs, and C4, again, why the hell. So I'll leave it on throwing knives. Special grenade, usually they say you're not allowed anything that, shocks them or slows them down, although you're allowed to sometimes, but I'm using smoke. Your perks, sleight of hand, to bring that scope right up to your eye as quickly as possible. That's what you'll soon learn. That's what you need. You need it there as fast as possible. Sometimes they say you're not even allowed that, but we're going to use that today. Stopping power, you don't need that, especially if it's on minuscule. I like it anyway. Steady aim. Sometimes they say you're not allowed steady aim because of the no-scoping ability. It strengthens that. Although I'm going to use it today, and I allow that in any of my quickscoping lobbies. And here we go. As I was saying, it's quite easy to do once you get the hang of it, and hopefully my tutorial today will help you with your quickscoping. Now, although I don't have anyone else in here with me, I will be using objects in the field to show you how I quickscope and how they usually quickscope in a game. Now, usually in a quickscoping lobby you'd have 2 to 5 to even 10, which gets pretty hectic, so you won't have any time to just stand there. So first off, I'm going to teach you a basic. This button here, the left trigger, is what brings the scope up. All the way down like this is called a hard scope. Those are never allowed in a quickscoping lobby. To do a quickscope, you tap it. That's a half scope. That is a quickscope. Notice you don't have much time to look down your sight, so it's preferred that you line your target up first. But we'll get back to that. So that's mainly what quickscoping is. There are other variations like the half scope or the no scope, which is that, and that's a half scope, which is a bit more experience. Okay, now to quickscope. We're going to aim for this, a little bit of metal there. Now you won't have this much time, but we're going to make it easy for you. You line it up and then shoot. That simple. Don't pull the trigger down and hold it there, because that's called a hard scope. Just tap it like this. If you go into a private lobby by yourself or with friends and practice this and see how tight you can make your groups, it's quite a good practice for you, instead of trying it out in the field or in proper free-for-all matches. We'll try that again. We'll aim for this one. Notice how easy that is. 3 bullet holes. Now we'll try a half scope. See that? You didn't even get to see down the sight. That is called a half scope. They're actually quite hard and they're not used that often. It's usually in close combat when you're trying to do a no scope and a quick scope at the same time, and it turns out to be that. If you can notice the aiming reticle, or the crosshairs at the end of the barrel go in slightly, there is this thing called optimal quickscope time, or optimal half scope time, and that is when your crosshairs are fully together, however you are not cancelling them out, like so. That's full, that's cancelled. You get them right in the middle, as small as you can make it, like this. See, my grouping is pretty tight, but then not the best as the pros. No scoping, as the name warrants, is where you don't use the scope. It's highly inaccurate unless you know what you're doing. See, my groups aren't as tight, and when I aim, it might go elsewhere, like so, aiming in the same spot, however it ends up somewhere else. So that is quickscoping, half scoping and no scoping. There are other ways you can quickscope or add things to your quickscope. There are 360 shots, there are Y shots, and there are also J shots. They are hard and they are mainly for the pros, but you can try them out if you want. A 360 scope is pretty much what it sounds like, is a 360, like so. Show you that again. 360. Okay, that wasn't a 360, but you get the idea. A J shot, if I had a sniper rifle on me, a J scope is where you hold this button for the throwing knife and you shoot at the same time. So pretty much do this. You pull these two at the same time. It's hard and it takes a lot of practice. Well, I just did it with a pistol, didn't know you could actually do that, but there you go. Shot and threw this at the same time. No scoping, 360s, half scoping, and the like. There's a tutorial into quickscoping. Please subscribe.